So I figured I'd do something a little bit different. I had a 40 kill tournament last night. No, it wasn't ranked. It was just a casual game, but I figured I'd kind of talk through some of the decisions I was making. I was playing heavy, as you can see, with the shoulder slam, the Louis gun, the dome shield, and the RPG, and of course the C4. I will say that I usually would go with a mesh shield instead of the shoulder slam, but when I'm playing with randoms, I can't necessarily guarantee they're going to play behind me, so I actually prefer the more aggressive style play. So anyway, these are just two randoms. We're just playing in tournament mode. First, as you can see, I always look for my nuke. So until this gets nerfed, if you're playing heavy, it's kind of a must-have. I do have opinions about the nuke. I do think it should be nerfed. And you'll definitely see some nukes executed in this. Maybe not extremely well, but ultimately they can get the job done. Oftentimes as a denial mechanism. I don't necessarily, there's times I've wiped full teams with nukes and stuff like that. In this game, I don't recall that happening. So as you can see, I took a little off angle here. I like to take off angles when I'm carrying a nuke because people like to shoot them. People like to counter them. And so I like to try, ensure they don't get picked off early, especially when I'm using a gas container. So gas container nukes I'll usually utilize for kind of a zoning thing. If I want to get distance, I'll use the red containers. And then if I'm on the point, I like to use the fire containers just to get some fire to burn after the fact. So looked like there's just a single person there that was trying to challenge our team for the deposit or for the initial cash box to take the deposit. We picked him off. Now we're making our way over. I do believe we have a teammate with recon census, so he's going to continue to give us insight about where people are. As you can see, he's marking things, so I'm trying to be cognizant of where he's marking folks coming from. Again, you'll note I try to find off angles, and there's points in this you'll probably see me use my shoulder charge to actually clear out some space. So we're not just playing in the room, in the cash out room. It's extremely dangerous for me to be sitting on point with a nuke. So I like to find off angles. From what I recall, this is actually a pretty fun play right here. So I'm going to see some people coming down the hallway here in a minute. Maybe not quite yet. Still just playing fast. There we go. So see some people coming down the hallway. Somebody's coming down the stairs right here. Get one. Didn't quite get him with my nuke, as you can see, but it followed up with a rocket launcher. I did have some really good teammates this round. I did use a bubble shield as a defensive kind of way to be aggressive. I saw this small guy come through. I end up seeing him and acting like not seeing him and charging through the wall there and circling back around. I didn't want to charge him directly on, but I knew if I had the dome between the two of us, it gives me an opportunity to play in and outside of that dome as a defensive mechanism. So again, the thing I love about shoulder charge and the thing I love about dome shield is that I can actually play fairly aggro as a heavy. And not, when you have the mesh shield, you can't attack while you have it up. So I like to play fairly aggro as heavy. I like to really control and not just be kind of a passive defense. When I'm playing with my friends, though, and there's good communication between us, then yeah. One thing it's important to always do is I'm kind of cycling through my different things, making sure I got my rocket launcher reloaded. At this point, I'm kind of anticipating the other team coming back or another team pushing in. Second C4 is up. I'll throw a barrel or a nuke with one C4, but try to make sure it's, we got a second one whenever possible. So I see someone down there. He had a anti-air turret or anti-grenade turret there, so it actually mitigated my nuke. I love the shoulder charge for purposes like that. So if someone's actually trying to steal point, I will shoulder charge it to get it off. Challenge these dudes here. Teammate was very helpful. He healed me partially through that as well as also helping get down that second guy. So we end up controlling the point here. Now we're making our way to the next vault, kind of ignoring what's going on with the rest of the map. The nice thing about this round is both vaults are getting opened and deposited at the same time. When those start staggering, things can get kind of dangerous because then you'll always be third party. You'll have the team or the teams that are challenging the other point come back to your point, and you just have this yo-yo effect that can really get out of hand. And so I did see there was a sniper up top. I wanted to challenge him. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I didn't actually get the kill. He died somehow. No one on my team ended up getting the kill, so I'm not entirely sure how he died. But I definitely threw an explosion in his face. So here I see this guy actually sees me. He was trying to shoot the barrel out of my hand. I actually didn't have any C4 on that barrel, but here's the case. I'm going to die to this guy. Kind of got caught out of position. I actually was going to shoulder charge through the wall into the building, so I actually use shoulder charge as kind of the defensive mechanism as well. I'm not super stoked with my teammate here doing a deposit with 2 teammates dead. I mean, once the deposit starts, that's when the timer starts, right? And that timer, it's going to complete, regardless of what happens. So, yeah, and as I'm stating right now, like if 2 teammates are dead, like it's not a good time to deposit. I'm not saying he has to go all the way to get us and come help, revive us. It's okay if we coin. But anyhow, me and my teammate are back up. Things are okay. A teammate got picked off here again. I'm trying to, again, take kind of a little ways around. Sometimes I'll come underneath and blow it down, but this one, I hear there's action going on upstairs. Try to get my pick. Now I notice there's 2 different teams here, right? So we have the initial team. I'm going to thirst this guy right here. There's 2 different teams here. End up getting a team wipe on that second guy. There's a lot of people kind of playing out of position here. Oddly, we have people kind of challenging other people's points, etc., just like you saw with that the first item. So I love to throw a dome out when we go for a revive. I mean, our teammate had a defib. No reason to defib there, quite honestly. I mean, unless we're being challenged, it's always better to have the defib available for in the middle of combat type of engagements, and and also bringing them back with full health. Go for a double nuke here, don't end up getting it, but trying to follow up with the Louis gun. End up not quite getting it, so I just do the shoulder charge to kind of seal the deal there. I did make sure to continue running as I did my slam there, just so I wouldn't fall through the floor. Obviously, this type of play causes all sorts of combat, for better or worse. I see someone stealing the point, he ends up getting off of it. This guy is kind of in a weird spot, kind of stuck down. I couldn't quite see where he went. I ended up getting stunned here, hit with a stun grenade. But again, just pushing through and with the aggression. That's what I love about the shoulder charge, is just the aggression of pushing through, especially when debris is all over the place. You can really, especially when people are trying to steal and they're kind of obscured by stuff, and, trying to find out where they are and see where they are with your gun and stuff can be very difficult, but just shoulder charging through everything. And you'll see a play a little bit later on with the shoulder charge that I'm pretty proud of this game. So anyhow, we're sitting on 11 kills right now. Not too bad. We have 2 deposits successful, making sure to reload all my things. As I call it, doing my chores. When I have downtime between combat, nothing worse than having your Louis gun almost empty, or not having your rocket launcher loaded as you're going into an engagement. So I get my nuke set up and ready, just kind of waiting, not necessarily expecting someone to challenge this, but here they are. So there's somebody here. Hear it coming from down the hall, just trying to find a good angle. I see the bullets coming from the right-hand side here. Again, trying to play a little bit passive. I think he doesn't get me. Okay. So end up getting someone with the denial there. So my nuke, because it was attached to a gas container, ended up killing Count Chocula there. And then I end up getting the other guy with the Louis gun. So again, it was just kind of I was moving that guy inside the dome for the revive. I mean, again, teammate's going to use his defib, which again I'm not completely against, since he does have his healing stream, so I'm okay with that. Currently sitting on 13 kills. Things are looking good. I'm actually just playing for denial at this point, right? Like we don't really have to, because we're in first place, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stick this over here in the corner. Let anyone who wants to come challenge us, but there's no use to sticking it in and potentially putting ourselves in a position where we could lose, especially if we end up team wiping. So you'll see a lot of teams that'll just play really passive at the end. So here we're just kind of chilling, and you can see an instance here where, I only have 1 C4 off of cooldown. So I did stick 1 on there. It's better than nothing, and it can again work as a zone denial. So if someone comes in that door, I'm going to chuck that barrel at them. The gas is going to explode, and it's going to make sure that they don't come in that way, or they take damage coming in that way. And the second my other C4 is up, I'm ready with it. So we're here ready to go. You could also see during that downtime I was cycling through my Louis gun, through my rocket launcher, just making sure that everything was ready to go. So now we see a deposit go in, and we're just kind of chilling, waiting. There's a body still over here from Orange, which is concerning to me. That means if someone on their team ends up coining, they're going to spawn over by us. So kind of anticipating someone coming in and challenging us at this point. But we're just hanging out. We're just, enjoying the downtime. This game has kind of these spikes in engagement. So at this point, I know, okay, we got 22 seconds left. There's no way they're going to grab that. So I figured I might as well run over here and, do a little stat padding, as we say, get a kill or two if possible. I don't think I ended up getting one at all. I was a little bit late here, but decided to come in and be a little disruptive. I think somebody jumps out on the roof here, and I end up hitting him with my barrel slightly. But anyway, end of the round. We end up having 13 kill round, 1 death. Had a good team there. So here we are going into round 2 of this tournament. Again, unranked tournament. And I just caveat that, this is casual play. This is not, I am Platinum 4 now in competitive, but this is just a casual tournament, with the SBMM. So here, you'll note this arena actually doesn't have any throwables, any barrels in it. So I have to be proactive about kind of gathering the throwables, the pots, things like that in the arena. I end up getting picked off by this light here. So I got my initial pick early on, but getting outplayed by this light here. End up getting team wiped. So it's okay. But always, an interesting start. I mean, again, here we have 840 cash. They have 600 from killing us. So we're still in the lead here from that perspective. So you get 1,000 cash for grabbing the vault initially, and then you get another 2,000 for the initial deposit. So just kind of looking at the scoreboard, seeing who's alive, and determining we're still going to push for B. Sometimes if we get outplayed by a team pretty early on, and depending on where we spawn, we'll decide to switch up our strategy and go for the other team, or for some reason the composition, or if we perceive a cheater or anything like that, we'll swap. So you can see I'm getting my nuke ready, getting it prepared here. Again, I think nukes are something that should need to be addressed, but in the interim, I'm going to play them. Usually we'll get a pick off of them. I end up losing this guy here. I don't know where he went. I can't find him. I think my teammate ended up picking him off there, and I didn't realize it. So I end up putting the dome out proactively to try to go for this steal here. As a heavy with shoulder charge, I'm always on edge with my steals and always ready to hit Q. If someone tries to challenge me, I will use shoulder charge in those situations. So, we end up getting the steal here. I'm kind of hunting around. At this point, obviously, I realize there's no barrels in the map. So I'm hunting around for kind of some little light throwables that I can utilize for a nuke. Obviously the downside is there's none of the benefits from the barrels, so you don't have the gas, or you don't have the fire, those type of things, and so you're just kind of stuck with these nukes, which is fine. I get to play mother hen over here. This teammate wants to just chill by me, which is cool. I think here I should be cycling through pretty quickly to make sure my Louis gun is fully loaded, my rocket launcher is loaded, etc. And shame on me if I don't. Maybe I've done that prior, but I definitely like to just double check that everything is ready to go for the next engagement. I've seen me looking at the scoreboard a lot. I'm just trying to see who's alive. When I hear the team wipe noise, I like to kind of see who it was. And oftentimes when teams end up wiping, that there's a likelihood they may end up coming for the alternate cash out. So which would be us in that case. I love to use the emote wheel just to kind of get my teammates feedback. If they're not on voice comms, I always do a thank you when I get revived. I like to do a hype. So anyway, I recommend that. It's good communication, even if through the ping system and the emote system, I think is always good hygiene with these games. We end up catching this person out of position. End up getting a nuke on him, and I think I get a rocket here. And those were two separate teams. At this point, I'm taking gunfire from the roof up here. I try to drop a dome immediately as a defensive, push that person and help my teammate on the kill, and now I'm just playing really passively. Teammate ends up healing me, so then I end up pushing forward. Otherwise, I would have hid behind that wall until I naturally healed back up. So at this point, we're just kind of pushing in closer, kind of taking the building while we gather that, since this is the building, or the top of the building is where that guy was that was pushing us. There's actually quite a bit of action that happens at this building. So teammate ends up engaging with someone there. I catch him at last second, throw a barrel at him. Don't end up getting a kill, but go up here to try to support my teammate. Start getting pursued from behind. Tried to do a charge here for the light. End up getting stunned in the process, but end up hip firing, killing him off. And then at this point I can hear an invis running around, pick him off. He picked off our teammate, and then I see purple over there. So at this point I try to just run quickly, grab teammate, and get a revive. But these folks come around the corner, kind of catch me in that. End up getting one kill, but end up dying to the other one. So at this point, I think our teammate is still alive, but he is making a decision that I don't fully support, which is trying to put a deposit in when the other two teammates are dead. It just puts undue pressure on our team. Like, I understand it, but it just puts undue pressure on our team, and especially right now where C has not been deposited, so it puts us in this weird stagger position. Thankfully, they were deposited relatively close to one another, but again, if one finishes 20 seconds before the other one, then everyone's going to run to the other one, so it just creates a third-party situation. I quite like this play right here, so I end up moving in. I catch somebody in the alley for a second here. They go up the jump pad, so I follow. I hear someone stealing our point, and so I decide to shoulder charge. I shoulder charge and then slam here and end up getting 2 kills. So the person who was actually on point was getting hit by our team, and then so he was already pretty low and he was getting healed, and then I knocked his teammate off the side, and then the slam, even though I think he would have actually fell to his death, the slam, proximity of the slam ended up killing him. So at this point, you'll see I often utilize a proactive dome. So I won't dome all the time when I need it. I'll dome in advance, specifically when things I feel like are getting close to being contentious. So at this point, I'm looking for a throwable, trying to get a nuke set up to make my way back up, and end up running into, I see purple flying over. He's pretty close to me. He jumps the wall, gets some damage on him, and I decide to go up the zip to put some distance between us, end up killing him here. And making my way back to the other roof. At this point, our teammate is dead, and so we have a teammate picking him up, but I know there's some combat going on, so again, I'm going to proactively dome, just as a preventative measure, anticipating the combat. So right there, those bullets I would have taken to the face. End up getting a shoulder charge kill here, but ultimately end up dying. And I think our whole team ends up getting wiped here, possibly, yeah. So we end up getting wiped before we end up capturing the point. 2 teams are fighting, so there's hope here that we're going to retain it, but as you can see, the other team ends up stealing it. So that's problematic for this game. As you can see, we're sitting, we're in a position we're going to get knocked out if we don't do something. So we have some pressure on us now to perform. Not that we don't always have pressure to perform, but now we're really in a spot. I'll often use shoulder charge to move quickly. Unfortunately, the Fox there was the recipient of my shoulder charge, but help my teammates move along quicker as well. So anyhow, I saw somebody ahead of us here who dropped down. I get my nuke ready, again, hopefully going for one, and then I end up picking off one person here, and I made a mistake here in that I was challenging this guy. I would have won the fight, but I was challenging him with his turret up as well. So here I'm going to go re-engage after the revive, go directly for him, and then I'll go after the turret. One thing about turrets, you can see that turret actually was facing the wrong direction, but if you shoot a turret, it will shoot back at you, even if you're not in its original field of view, and its lock-on time is quicker. So just be, I guess, mindful when you engage with turrets. So here I'm going to grab a plant in advance, just because my C4 is not quite off of cooldown, so I'm going to have it kind of on the ready. Trying to determine how I want to defend this point. It's hard, especially if you're going to be running with nukes and rockets, to be kind of down on the point. So I decided to take a vertical position here, and kind of have the opportunity to kind of look down on the point. People can bring the point down different floors. So I oftentimes, when I'm a medium, will run an anti-rocket just to prevent them from being brought down. But here, obviously, I can't do that. Somebody jumps in. This guy does not realize I'm behind him. So I get some pretty good shots on him. Put a dome up proactively because I know he came in with a team. And then I just play the edge of the dome again. You know, that dome wall is very helpful. So here, the light, takes some shots at him. Ultimately, teammate ends up killing him. I think I missed every one of those shots, which is embarrassing. I jumped down to actually grab our teammate to move him up here to revive, but end up not grabbing him. Our teammate kills the other person, and so the threat's out of the way. I move back to my position up top, and at this point I decide, you know what, if throwing that and detonating that, it could be problematic. It could be risky, so I'm actually just going to put it on point and have it ready for detonation. Here we have a bunch of people push in. I see someone trying to steal, so I end up shoulder charging him, knocking it down another floor, trying to, again, give myself some space. See someone else is taking it, jump down and challenge that. So I'll often play relatively passive. Again, when we're running out of time, it's not worth the actual individual fights. It's just all about the objective. So ended up that round with 17 kills, very positive, getting my nuke ready for this last one. I will look between rounds and see kind of what we're up against. So I cut that out, but I did look to see like if it's medium versus heavy, versus lights. Right here you'll see I do take a passive angle, and this is historically what I'll do. My team ends up being not a good play. I like to take passive angles again with barrels. Right here I could have got a decent pick. I end up getting a kill here. But when you're in the finals of the finals, there's no advantage to getting the cash out box first. And so I decided to play passive and hopefully get a pick or a team wipe before we even start trying to move the box. But teammates pushed in, which is fine. We end up wiping. There's no penalty at this point. There's no cash penalty in this. And now I'm just kind of watching where they're going to go with it. This is a decent position for us. Just kind of preempting. The downside, especially since I haven't not deposited yet, is it literally spawns us, the furthest possible point on the map from them. So they just start depositing. I get my nuke ready. I'm anticipating attacking this from a distance, which is why I grab a red barrel. And I also do want to try to take the point relatively quickly, so I don't need a bunch of poison gas around. There are times I'll usually grab poison gas when we actually control the point, because when I detonate on it, then it's going to work as a area denial. Anyhow, my teammates are engaging these guys from the other roof. I end up hopping up here and getting a pick on someone. Get my rocket launcher ready for a follow-up. End up doming preventatively, just kind of trying to see through the gas on what's going on. End up getting challenged right here. I'm low health. Enemy team ends up picking me off. They put some shots on our team put some shots on the enemy there. They end up getting a revive on me. This guy tries to get me down again, does not successfully. At this point, I don't know. I feel like there's still two alive. Our teammate ended up kind of baiting out the steal, which I love. So he ended up using and it's baiting these folks out here. So he used it initially. I ended up getting stunned here and ended up getting killed, but thankfully our teammate ended up capturing it. One mistake I made there is I actually had dome shield on cooldown. I should have domed him in advance. I mean, it was fortunate we ended up making it through that, but I should have pre-domed him. Anyhow, at this point, there is not really a chance for them to take it back, but I'm preparing just in case for a push. Since I have both C4s up, I'm just preparing my nuke, getting it all ready. I think I might end up cycling to my rocket launcher here just to make sure that that's all reloaded and everything. But I think at this point I can tell they're rather close. They end up trying to steal, end up getting a pick with the nuke. They end up picking up one of our teammates. I end up pursuing this, especially with a shoulder charge. So he's trying to run, shoulder charge it to get the finish. I think there's one guy left, and he's a light. He ends up getting a stun on me here, but I end up landing my hip fire shots and winning that engagement. So teammate revives our other teammate, and now we make our way. So now we're in a decent position. You know, we have to now, we can effectively lose, and we don't have to lose one deposit, and we'll still be safe. So just cycling through weapons here, making sure we're fully reloaded. But now, yeah, we're sitting on 7 kills. We're feeling pretty good. We feel confident in our engagements, which is important. Again, there's sometimes where we fight teams and end up not feeling confident after engaging them, and I'll switch which teams we go fight with just because we have lost to one team multiple times. Again, you only have to end up in the top 2. So if you're continually losing to a team that is rolling 3 heavies or something like, or 3 lights, and they just happen to end up picking you off, like you can always change your mind and just go for the other point. So at this point, we're just playing a little bit defensive. I catch the invis off guard right there, which is perfect. So he's dead, and we assume that his team is with him, or I assume that his team is with him. So I go over here, and I am anticipating that they're going to take that same jump pad. There's really no other way across, and I haven't seen them utilize jump pad or zip lines of their own at all. So I just am proactively waiting with a dome shield for them to come jumping over. I see one come over, and then the second one I see land, get him with a rocket and a quick follow-up. And I see his teammate there end up going for a shoulder charge to finish him off, but end up causing all sorts of chaos, and yeah, didn't end up killing him. But, we have 2 down at this point, right? We have the light that we picked off earlier, unless they picked him up, which it looks like they did, and then he just got killed again. And now we're sitting on a team wipe. So, we're in a pretty good spot, right? We have 1 deposit under our belt. They're currently team wiped. We're kind of in a dominant position. So I will play very passive at this point and just play to deny. I'm not here to, my one team I feel is even further extended than I would be. I'm just playing really passive here. All I want to do is prevent them from cashing out. The one thing I don't like about this is I can't actually see the point, so if the light sneaks in there and steals, we're going to be kind of in an off angle. End up picking them off, or picking one of their teammates off. I think right here I try to do a shoulder charge to get through so I can actually see the point, end up screwing it up. But now that we got 2 of them down, I'm feeling more confident about kind of getting down and getting active. But I would prefer to have a hole in that ceiling so I can look down in and see. Because, again, that vertical position is relatively dominant. As you can see how it plays in well here. So this guy comes over, ends up trying to challenge. He's dead. I don't know why they trickled in like that. They kind of came in all 3 independently. That's definitely not optimal. So at this point, it's a guaranteed win. We're in a good spot. I end up trying to emote, but I'm crouched, which you cannot do while you're crouched. Anyhow, again, is this high-level competitive tournament play or a ranked tournament play? It is not. This is, a 40-kill tournament with a lot of fun, and I wanted to kind of outline what my approach is as I go through. So anyhow, I really enjoy the heavy lately. I started with medium originally, and I'll do another video on medium, but let me know if you want to see more heavy videos or medium or light, and catch you on the next one.